What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stranger Things Has Happened, Season 2, Episode 2. How you doing, Kelly?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Don?
I couldn't be more excited.
Man.
Feel these nipples.
Yeah, right? This episode answered a ton of questions and then left me with a ton of questions.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm so sucked into it. Season 2, Episode 2, Chapter 2, Trick or Treat, Freak. Which is so appropriate for this time of the year.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. You're beeping.
Yeah, I always am beeping.
Is it your heart rate or a text message?
No, that was just some random fucking thing my phone thought I needed to know about.
Figures. Well, you want to jump into this?
I think we should. And I mean, this episode jumps right into it.
Yes!
There was no oozing in. It was like, bam!
It was bam. Immediately, you see Elle. Immediately after she battled the Demigorgon in the finale of season 1. And she's in the Upside Down. It's the Upside Down of the school that she's in.
Right.
And she's screaming. She's looking for Mike. She did defeat that Demigorgon. It's gone. And she's wandering around the halls and she sees like this bright red doorway. Right. It's a little tiny little thing at this point. And she hears the officers on the other side, and then it gets a little quieter and she reaches her arm through, and sure enough, yeah, she found a door.
Right.
But she can't get her whole body through, so she uses her telepathic powers to like bust that shit down, and she steps through. And was it just me, or did it kind of look like a birth?
It did very much look like that. Did you also get the impression that maybe time was moving differently?
Right? It just seemed weird.
Because it seems like that she wakes up right after she ends up in the Upside Down after the events from the season finale.
Yeah.
And then she makes her way through the hall very quickly.
Yeah.
And then when she looks through the hole, there's people on the other side.
Right.
And then she hangs back for 30 seconds or so, and they're gone.
Everybody's gone. I mean, the blood is still fresh from when the Demigorgon busted out and started eating Dr. Brenner, Papa.
Right.
Still all those blood swaths on the floor, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe time moves faster outside the Upside Down.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe it was just a coincidence because it didn't feel like having her wait for an hour. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, I did notice that too. So once she gets out, she starts walking through the forest. She gets back to Mike's house. She sees the place is all covered in cops. Of course, there's freaking Mike's dad. He's like, yeah, this is top secret, and he gives a salute, and we're all patriots in this house. We would never say a word. And it's
that guy is such a fucking tool, bro.
Such a douche, man. I can't stand that guy. Yeah. I don't hate him. I just really don't like him.
He's just a tool.
Ugh.
He's just a fucking weird, useless douchebag tool.
Exactly.
Don't mean nobody no harm. He's just a tool.
Yeah. Oh, we're patriots in this house. Yeah. America.
Yeah, we are.
We are Penn State. Don't you be knocking on Penn State. Big game on Saturday. Yeah, we are. Anyway. So, and then, we see Karen's in another room talking to a different group of cops or feds. We'll call them feds. And then poor Mike, he's in a totally different room with the feds grilling him. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? She's so dangerous. You don't understand. Elle is so dangerous. And Mike's like, screw you guys. you could ask me a million times. I'm never going to tell you where she is. And he sees her right on the other side of the window, and they're both staring at each other. But then the stupid feds noticed he was gazing at something. Look out the window. They didn't see her, but they noticed he was gazing at something out the window. So huge search party ensues. It leads to helicopters flying overhead. Elle's hiding in the forest again. And then we get the opening credits.
I had a little trouble with that transition too. I didn't quite understand how we went from he was staring off blindly or blankly through the window to the search party. Did somebody turn and see her?
Yeah, we don't really know. We can only assume that maybe somebody caught a glimpse.
Something that ended up on the editing room floor for time or something.
Yeah.
That kind of shit happens.
Yeah, it happens all the time. It wasn't really a big deal, but we go from one and then immediately to the next with nothing in between. So, and then we get the opening credits. And when they go off, we see Hopper, and Hopper's being like a dad, and he's making French toast and bacon. And it's like, aw, because like, if you think back to season 1, Hopper didn't cook,
No, he was barely a functioning adult.
Yeah, he's constantly eating donuts. He's eating bad and everything. So he makes French toast and bacon, and Elle comes out in a sheet, and she's like, trick or treat, she wants to go trick or treating. And Hopper's like, no, we don't take risks in this house. What do we call risks? And Ella's like, they're stupid. And it's like, yeah, taking risks is stupid. Sit down and eat your French toast before it gets cold. Right. And she's like, teenager, not even a teenager. What is she, like 12?
Yeah, something like that.
Like around 12, maybe 13. I don't remember. But yeah, she's pouting because it's Halloween.
Because you would. Yeah.
I would have. Halloween was my favorite holiday.
I was sitting there literally like looking at that French toast while I was eating my salad going, French toast.
I thought the same thing, man. And that bacon sitting next to it. Like, dude.
Yeah. As I'm sitting there eating something healthy.
Stupid salads.
Yeah. It's anything good is just dumb.
Yeah, I know. It is. Well, sometimes a good salad is really.
Oh, I love a good salad, but it's not French toast and bacon.
It's not French toast and bacon, though. Like, damn.
Right.
So he's like, how about we compromise? I'll come home at 5:15, and I will bring a whole bunch of Halloween candy, and we'll get fat and happy eating the candy while watching some horror movies. And Elle's like, compromise. So, word of the day, and they go through that and everything. Because Daddy Hopper is teaching her English too. And it's like, oh, he's being like a dad.
Right.
So I really love that. I really love that. I just wanted to say that.
The entire interaction, character development, all that shit was real good. I'm enjoying what they're doing with Hopper, which kind of explains why people are so affectionate of that character.
Yeah.
Because remember at the beginning we were like, I think Hopper's dead.
Yeah, Hopper's a dick. Yeah. And I thought he was an ass at the beginning of season 1. But then at the end of season 1 and seeing how he parented his child before she passed away, like he enjoyed being a dad, and now he can be a dad to Elle, and Elle needs a parent. But we know her parent is over 2 towns over and not talking and catatonic and everything. So
not actually capable of.
Yeah. Like, are we gonna? I'm wondering if we're gonna see anything with that in the future, or it's just like old news now. I don't know. So that's a question. That's a new question that I have now. Like,
I bet
what's
you
up with
money
mom?
that just dies where it's at. That was one
You
of
think?
those things where they set up in a series
Mm-hmm.
so that people just don't ask it, so
Right.
it's like not always when is Elle gonna find her parents, because that's what people would do. One of
Yeah.
these days she's got to find her parents.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Well, we go from Hopper's house over to Joyce's house, and she's freaking out over she can't find Will because she went into Will's room to tell him breakfast is ready and
Mm-hmm.
his bed's made and there's no Will. And she has like this 30-second total complete freak out. And sure enough, he's in the bathroom trying to take a piss. It's
Right.
like, dude, really, Joyce? Calm down a little bit.
Yep.
She's
That
like,
was kind of the theme of
way.
this whole show for a while. Like, oh, Joyce is being
Yeah.
overbearing.
Yeah. She's way overprotective right now. I get it,
Yeah.
but she's still doing it.
Mhm.
I probably would too, but dude, you walked in on your, almost teenage son taking a whiz.
Right.
Dude.
Like, what else could be going on in there?
Yeah. Seriously.
Like, it's either going to be something you don't want to fucking see or something you
Yeah.
don't need to see.
Yeah, exactly. So Will comes out, eventually. It's Halloween. It's Halloween. He's all dressed up in his Ghostbusters outfit. Mom's taking pictures. There's photo sessions galore. I'm sorry, not Joyce was taking pictures. Jonathan was taking pictures with his new camera. And we flash over to Lucas, same thing. Parents are taking pictures. Lucas has a little sister. Didn't know that in season 1, but he's got a little sister now.
We're getting a full-blown montage of Ghostbuster pictures.
Yes. Dustin's getting pictures taken. And then we get over to Mike's house, and Nancy's taking pictures, and Mike wants nothing to do with it. So he can't forget right now. And he's kind of like lashing out at everything.
Yep, seems to be for sure.
So they all go to school. And when they get to school, they're all excited. They see each other. They high five. They have a mini fight over nobody wants to be Winston. And they look around, and they are the only people in the entire school that dressed up.
Yeah. So did they transition from junior high to high school, or
I don't know if it's junior high to high school or
high.
I think it's elementary school to middle school. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I think they went from
like 6th graders.
Like, yeah, 6th or 7th graders. That's right around 12 years old. I was 12 in 6th grade.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And nobody else is wearing costumes. And of course, they split up, and Will goes to class, Mike goes to class, and Dustin and Lucas are standing there staring at Max at her locker, and they're like, we're going to talk to her. Maybe later. And then they don't talk to her.
I thought that was great.
Yeah. We'll do it later.
Yeah. Girls.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Trying to hit on girls.
Well, saying that I'm going to talk to that boy later and then never talk to him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I did a lot of that myself.
Today's the day. No. Maybe tomorrow.
No. I mean, that kind of happens as adults too, I guess.
It does. Well, I don't know. I've reached the I could give a fuck stage.
Well, that's maybe my problem now is I tend to just be like, well, all right, well, maybe I have more balls than brains. So this is what I was thinking. Oh, I shouldn't have thought that. Huh?
Exactly. That's the age I am. It's like, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say what I have to say. And if they don't like it, I'm a big girl. Pull up my panties,
Right.
Yeah. But that's kind of like the Gen X way anyway.
It kind of is. So what's what happened next?
We flash over to Joyce and Hopper's at her house. Joyce, when she was looking for Will, found the picture. Remember last week we saw that thing, that big monster in the storm, and it was like bleh, with all the tentacles and shit.
Right.
Will made a picture of that, and she's showing Hopper, and Hopper's telling her about PTSD, and it's the season. It's right around the 1 year anniversary, and Joyce's like, well, maybe we should take him here. Maybe we should take him up to Boston.
Right.
Like Joyce thinks that there's something wrong, and Hopper's like, you're just gonna spend a whole ton of money on some quacks, just basically let it play out, and we'll see where it goes.
So far, it seems that they've taken great care to treat these situations in a way that's contemporary with the mid 80s understanding of things, which I think is pretty well thought out. Like,
absolutely.
Normally, when they do retro stuff like that, they ideas that didn't come about until later get floated in, and you're like, whoa, that doesn't feel right.
I mean, like, if you think about it, everyone wanted to take, if there was something wrong with your kid, everybody wanted to go to John Hopkins up in Boston, because they were the best of the best up there.
Right.
So, it made a lot of sense. The one thing I wrote down about this scene was they're smoking, and back in the 80s you didn't have to smoke outside, you smoked right in the kitchen. There are no kids around. It's okay.
Even if there was kids around back then, you'd blow the smoke in their face. Like, you're a kid.
Yeah, it didn't matter back then. It really didn't. But Joyce goes to get a cigarette, and she didn't for some odd reason or another, and Hopper gives her his cigarette to take a drag off of. Joyce starts coughing, and they immediately start reminiscing about how they were in school hiding out and smoking, and then the teacher caught them, and they ran and they shared the moment. They laughed, and Hopper gave her the eyes.
Yeah.
Dude, when a guy gives you those eyes, there's something there. There's something there. And I think Joyce knew it, because she immediately changed the subject to, oh, Will, what are we going to do? And I'm like, damn it. Like, I should
she's dating Radio Shack guy.
Yeah.
She's dating the Hobbit.
Yeah. I mean, I love Sean Astin, but I really want her to be with Hopper.
Yeah, well,
think of how cool that would be.
Yeah, but there's at least 2 more seasons to see what happens.
That's true. That's true.
You got plenty of time to ship them.
It's true. So then we immediately flash over to the lab, okay, which is really, really weird. They're going into the Upside Down again through their brand new state-of-the-art doorways that automatically open and close. And instead of like last time they were burning the monster or whatever,
right?
This time they were fixing this. They have satellites over there now.
Yeah, they've got some kind of communication system, and it fried out on the other end.
Yeah. So like they're fixing the satellite dishes in the Upside Down.
Right.
But in the meantime, like Paul Reiser, the new doctor, he's just replaying the tapes of Will talking about the storm that's coming and how he was frozen in fear and everything.
Yeah, and you can see him getting anxious and playing with the stress ball. And
yeah, so he
believes him.
He believes him. And so we know that was a crock of bullshit that he was telling Joyce and Hopper at the end of that appointment.
Yeah. So it tells me that the way he read the scans and stuff, he believes that Will believes.
Yeah.
all that's true and it's scaring him.
They're not new and improved doctors. They're the same assholes as before.
Mm-hmm.
They're just telling people this so nobody gets freaked out.
Yep.
So then we hop over to the library and where Nancy's going, she's getting stuff. And she sees the back of a person that made her think of Barb. And she's got this incredible guilt. Steve is there, snaps her out of it. Nancy thinks that they need to tell Barb's parents the truth. They did all this stuff and, we're just going to forget about Barb, forget that Barb ever existed, pretending that she's just lost and her parents are going to be looking for her forever. And Steve's like, we can't do that because I guess the feds threatened them that if they ever told anybody, they could go to jail or something worse.
That was all part of Hopper's deal.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're just going to pretend.
Mm-hmm.
And you could really, this episode, they talk about PTSD, but the two people who look like they have PTSD the worst are Mike and his sister Nancy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, Nancy definitely does.
Yeah.
I mean, sitting there, or, she went into the Upside Down.
Yeah.
She went through all of that stuff, saw her best friend dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then.
Because she was boinking the guy because she was drunk.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So she's definitely fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I feel bad for her. I kind of do feel bad for her.
Yeah, she's been through it.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? It's the 80s, so you got to rub dirt on it.
Yeah.
Because that's what we were told to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you end up with a sandy butt crack.
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Nobody wants that.
Mm-hmm. And then someday you might do a Stranger Things podcast about 40 years later.
Yeah. Well, at least we know what the next show is going to be.
Yeah, right. So we leave that scene and now we're over with Dustin and Lucas and they're finally going to talk to Max and they do it. They go over to Max's locker. They finally talk to her.
Make complete fools of themselves.
Complete dumbasses. Like, since you're new here, we're worried about you and there's bullies out there, you can come trick-or-treating with us,
right. Like I mean, of all the pickup lines, I mean,
yeah. And she's like, yeah, you're my stalkers and you're gonna protect me against bullies, really? And
right.
And of course, Dustin's like, we know where all the king-size candy bars are, which was a really huge thing in the 80s. I remember that. That was a huge thing
growing up.
Yeah, I remember taking note of where the grown-ups who give out the full-size candy bars were, and then making sure I went there every single year.
There was a stretch of about 10 people on the backside of our route.
Yeah.
That all did that. And they would all compete with each other for the best stuff or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was obviously like competition to who had the cool shit.
Yeah.
And we would go through there and then we would swap parts of our costumes and we go through there again. And then we do it again.
You're so smart.
We'd get like 3 dozen full-size candy bars.
You're so smart, dude.
I don't know that it was my idea.
Oh, dude.
One of us was smart.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, Dustin can't see that she's talking sarcastically to him. And he's like, be at this point at this time and we'll see you later, and he's like, whoa, we got a date. And
right.
Yeah. Next scene, we have Elle changing the TV with her mind, which is pretty damn cool. I thought that was freaking awesome. And she goes to look out the window and she sees a squirrel, and the squirrel's just eating on the little feeder, but she immediately goes into a flashback of being in the forest, and it's wintertime, and you're thinking like Elle's walking through the snow and it's snowing, and you know she's wearing the same exact clothes from the Demogorgon fight, and she sees a little squirrel, and you're like, ah. She picks it up with her mind and slams it against a tree and kills it and starts eating it. Well, she starts cooking it to eat it. I'm like, oh, that poor kid, you know, like,
Trauma.
Yeah, but like, way to look out for yourself, girl. You know, she's not just curling up in a corner and dying or anything. She sees a hunter. And the hunter's like, little girl, what's your name? What are you doing out here? And
then she smacks him with a squirrel.
She smacks him. Was it a squirrel or was it a burning log?
No, it was the squirrel.
It was the squirrel?
Yeah, because the squirrel was like rotating over the fire.
That's right.
And then she smacks him in the face with the fucking squirrel.
Knocks him completely out. Like he
steals his coat like, and all that shit.
Coat and hat. I'm like,
and all your shit.
Running through the forest. Yeah, can't catch me.
I can't believe she didn't take the squirrel, really.
Yeah, right? You did all that work to cook it?
Right.
I thought she threw a burning log at him. I didn't think it was a squirrel.
It's a damn squirrel.
Oh, that's kind of funny, though.
Knocked out by a squirrel.
Knocked out by a squirrel.
I woke up and I didn't have a fucking coat.
A little girl knocked you out with a
squirrel.
And stole your shit. Yeah.
But she left me the squirrel. So, I mean, it's, you know.
Yeah, right.
Little rotisserie squirrel.
Didn't even have to skin it.
That's right. That's right. She did all the work. Took my fucking coat, though, the bitch.
What a little wench. Oh, my gosh. Oh, so we're back at the precinct, okay? Hopper's there. And
more rotten pumpkins.
The other farmer is like, so-and-so, farmer so-and-so. Like, he thought I poisoned all his pumpkins, and he poisoned all my pumpkins now. It's like, what?
Yeah, but then he was like, and then all the other farmers' pumpkins.
And this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and this guy. Like, 5 other farmers lost all of their crops.
I'm just sitting there the whole time going, and you thought fucking the one dude did this? Like,
yeah.
What? How do you go from that to not being like, well, shit, there's something wrong with the pumpkins?
Yeah, like one crotchety old man went and like hit up 6 farms in the middle of the night and poisoned all the crops. So Hopper is fucking smart, and he's like, we're gonna go check it out. He goes to one farm, he sends guys to another farm. But we're not going to see it just yet, because now we see Max leaving school to get a ride home from her fucking brother, who is a fucking dick.
Like
I hate Max's brother. Like a super huge monster green dick.
Yeah, just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Totally repulsive. Complete. I mean, I thought Steve was an asshole. Oh, excuse me. I thought Steve was an asshole in season 1. This guy is a fucking asshole.
Come on in. Hey, buddy. What's up, Super Dick?
Company.
Come over here. You got to fucking stick your face in it.
What's up?
Ladies and gentlemen, you got to keep coming down. Where? Richie Rich.
Hi.
What's up?
That's Richie, the big arm Brewster.
What's this about?
Stranger Things.
He's famous in the escape pod world.
Episode 2. See you, homie. So now when this runs live, he'll have to watch it just so he can see his pixelated ass face.
Yes. he's famous in the escape pod world.
Absolutely.
Everybody, if you're seeing this right now on Wednesday at 7:05 p.m. Eastern, go and catch ATSW the Escape Pod on YouTube live.
Post show.
So yeah, major fucking dick. Max is like, slightly late. He's like, next time you're going to be skateboarding home, gives her a ride. He's speeding. Something is going on. Like,
they've got this very contentious relationship. Something comes out as to whose fault it really is that they're there.
Yeah. There's got to be abuse going on.
Yeah, there's something.
There's something that they didn't tell us yet. So, huge question number 3. Second question is, how did the crops all get rotten? We know it has something to do with something supernatural. Right. And question number 3 is, what happened in that family that caused them to move up here? Like,
so they've moved here, and there's a dispute at least as to whose fault it is.
Yeah.
And, oh boy, is super fucking angry about it.
Yeah. And she's clamming up, as you do when you're being verbally bashed.
Right.
And he thinks it's funny to try to run over her friends, If she didn't grab the wheel, he would have hit them. Which is like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, why would you smash up your Camaro?
Yeah. With the bikes, I mean, that would have scratched up the paint at least.
I had a lot of trouble with that, where I was just like, I could see maybe he'd like play around and be a dick about it, because that's, asshole kids, but
yeah,
you wouldn't have fucked up your Camaro, let alone fucking murdered 3 kids just because you were pissed at your sister.
Yeah. So like, whatever. What a fucking asshole. But now we know. And his name is Billy. So we know that now too.
Was that his name? See, I didn't even catch that.
Billy. I caught it at the party. We didn't get to the party yet. I'll save it. We're back with Hopper again. And Hopper is looking at the crops. And the other cops are overlooking at somebody else's crops. And they're just like the old man from chapter 1's crops. But Hopper's starting to go into the woods, and he sees like there's that icky, slimy ectoplasm like shit.
Right. And maggots are growing on it and eating it.
Yeah.
Seems to be what's on the pumpkins as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because he did tell them, now we haven't ruled out that this is poison or not, so don't go touching anything without your gloves. And the other cop is looking back at he's like,
yeah,
10-4 and rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
But we know that it's goopy and it smells.
And it's drawing flies, and they're
drawing a shit ton of flies and maggots, yes.
And and it's happening fast, because the guy says last night.
Yeah.
And there's already, all his pumpkins are decayed.
Yeah.
And they've got maggots on them.
Yeah.
So I've never, that definitely defies the basic life cycle of maggots.
Yeah. Exactly. So Hopper's now investigating, and he's going off in the forest, and he's flagging how far back it's going. And we flash over to Joyce's house, where Radio Shack man Bob is teaching Jonathan how to use a camcorder, which is like, whoa, camcorders were like really huge things in the 80s. Like, you can video things. Like,
my friend parents had one of those, and we would record like air guitar fucking rock videos. Like, that was our whole thing. Like, we were a band.
That is so cool. I would have done that too.
I think we were like 9-10 years old, but fuck, video camera. That was like space age shit.
Yeah. Oh, and on the shoulder,
Oh yeah, that fucking.
They were big. They weren't those little handheld things like the beginning of the 2000s.
Yeah. They had a tripod and the whole stroke.
they're really not around anymore because it's been replaced by a cell phone.
Yep.
Wow.
The last really bastion of that was like the handy cams where they just kind of were about the size of your hand, and GoPros.
Yes, GoPros.
I guess
Definitely.
GoPros still are around. So
GoPros still are around. They're really good for like sporty events,
yeah.
Like I have a friend who's a skier and she always puts the GoPro on her ski helmet.
Yep.
Yeah, so Bob is all dressed up as Dracula, because he can't wait to hand out the candy. And Jonathan's gearing up to take Will trick-or-treating. Bob says to be back by Bob is like so dorky though. He's just like this big giant dork.
Right.
And Will and Jonathan get into the car and they start having a brother-to-brother talk, and it doesn't seem like they're too fond of Bob. Like, they don't hate him, but Jonathan's like, I don't know why Mom is with him, And Will's like, well, he's the only one who treats me normally, which is like, oh, okay. I kind of get it. But Jonathan, and which made me want Hopper and Joyce to get together even more because Jonathan likes Hopper. Hopper is like a dad to Jonathan,
right. You're not buying Bob, though?
I'm not buying Bob. I like Bob. I wish him the best. But no. Maybe he can get together with Dustin's mom. Yeah. She's like a cat lady anyway.
But he's not enough for Joyce.
I don't think so. I'm calling it. They'll be done by the end of season 2.
That seems fair.
I hope so. Anyway, so after that little talk, Jonathan understands that Will feels like everybody's treating him like a fragile little thing and wants to be a boy, wants to go trick-or-treating with his friends. And he's like, go with your friends. Don't you dare tell Mom be back by 9. And then he goes to the party. Because they did bring up Nancy. So
and I mean, this is a legit 80s movie style house party.
Yes. Kid puking on the lawn. Everybody's drunk. Max's brother. This is when we learn that his name is Billy because he's the new keg king.
Is that what he said? We got a new keg king.
New keg king.
Okay.
Keg king Billy. So Billy comes into the party. And there's Nancy and Steve. And Billy starts giving Steve the stare down, what's up with that? So we're going to see something someday with that.
Yeah, that was 100%. I'm taking over your turf. And Steve was
exactly.
Like, no, you're exactly not. But okay, I got shit to do.
But you know what? I think he's trying to take Steve's place as the asshole because, what was the first thing we saw when he pulled into the parking lot on that first day of school? Steve's ex-friends, Carol and the dumb chicks were like, "Ooh, look at his ass," Yeah. So maybe he is taking over Steve's spot. Nancy rolls her eyes because we're all playing a big game of pretend, and she goes and gets herself a drink.
Yeah.
We go back to Joyce's house now. Bob puts a record on the record player, and it's Dolly and Kenny. Islands in the Stream. And he's like, come on, Joyce, dance with me. So he's talking to Joyce now and knows that Joyce is all stressed out because, within good reason.
Yeah. Was it last episode that they were talking about Kenny Rogers?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Will and Jonathan.
I love Kenny Rogers.
Yes, exactly. That was last episode. So now he's playing Kenny Rogers.
I was just making sure because I was thinking in my head, I was like, It's Kenny Rogers, isn't it?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
He really does love Kenny Rogers.
I
So
like it.
I like how they're keeping the story like consistent though, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, they're dancing and Joyce is dressed and he's like, come on, baby, let's just dance. And he's still all dressed up and looking like a big dork, but you know, waiting to hand out candy to trick-or-treaters. But he starts talking about like maybe we should move. You know, this place has so many bad memories for you. My parents live in Maine and they're selling their house. Let's just move to Maine and there's a Radio Shack right down the road where I can work. And I'm like,
Right.
Radio Shack.
Where was Hawkins again?
Isn't it like Indiana or Illinois?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's definitely in one of those two.
Yeah.
Illinois, I think. No,
Illinois,
Indiana.
Indiana. Hawkins, Indiana sounds right.
I think it's Hawkins, Indiana.
We should look that up.
I'm looking it up right now.
Thank you. So yeah, and Joyce is saying, but we're not a normal family. And you know, Bob is
set in Hawkins, Indiana.
Indiana. Mhm. And Bob's like, that's okay. So
Fucking Bob.
So we go over to the boys now. The boys are trick-or-treating and they're coming from one house. They're ready to go to another. And Michael Myers jumps out of the bushes with a knife and everybody screams and Dustin sounds like a little girl.
Yeah, that made me laugh. I'm like,
oh my gosh, yeah. Michael pulls off the mask and it's Max. It's just Max. I like Max. I'm kind of like getting very fond of her.
Yeah, she might be a very interesting character for sure.
I have so many questions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm getting really fond of her. So yeah, Max does decide to go trick-or-treating with them, you know, after making fun of them for the way they screamed, of course.
Right.
Hopper is still, it's nighttime now, and Hopper's still looking at the trees in the woods. And he's like, oh, shit. I was supposed to be home right now.
Yeah, he's super fucked up.
Like, I get it. As an adult, I get it. You know, he's a police officer. You know, he's got things to do. But as a girl... I was also a girl at one point in time, little girl. Dude, you broke a promise, you know, right. To like a 12-year-old girl. Promises are like the entire world, and you broke a promise. He said that he was going to be late. He sees this little kid on the side of the road with his candy pumpkin, and he's like, hey kid, can I have some of that candy? And the kid's like, hell no.
Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah. He takes out a $5 bill like cha-ching. No.
You know how much money $5 was in 1984?
$5 was huge because in 1984, when we went trick-or-treating, if we got a quarter, that was a lot.
I remember taking $1 bill to the store and getting a pop, a bag of chips, and then a couple of 5-cent candies.
Yeah, exactly. $5.
Yeah.
Do you know how many comic books you could have bought in 1984 with $5?
You could have bought it like a thick ass stack.
You could have gotten like all the comic books plus a can of soda.
And
a handful of Bazooka Joes.
I think my Transformers comic books, which would have been 1984, were 10 cents a piece.
There you go. So yeah, he buys the boys a Halloween pumpkin, the entire pumpkin, and comes home, knocks on the door. He's late. Oh wait, I skipped a major plot point.
Kelly.
Okay, back it up. When he does his Morse code to Elle to say that he's going to be late, she
Mhm.
went into a flashback. She's still in the forest, and her
Yeah.
flashback took her right to that box at the end of season 1 that
Mhm.
Hopper put in the Tupperware of Christmas cookies and
Yeah.
the Eggo waffles that he wrapped up in tinfoil.
Yep. So
So
she was eating that stuff.
yeah,
We were wondering how she was getting it. She was here.
yeah, she was here.
He'd
It
cross back
wasn't in the
over.
upside down. But that brought up another question. Like, did Hopper know at this point that she was in the forest? Did he assume that she was in the forest? Did he just think that that was like a graveside marker where
I
he
think
was?
that's what it was. I think that was like a tribute box more than anything.
Yeah, it could be. But he put a hinge on it.
Mhm.
So he knew that somebody was taking it. So, yeah, more questions.
Right.
For every question that was answered, it brought up another question.
True.
So, yeah, I apologize because
So he
of
goes
that.
back with the candy.
He comes back with the candy. Yeah. Actually, that's all the way at the end of my notes. So,
Mhm.
I'm just going to like chat a little bit about other things now. Because we're with the boys again, trick-or-treating. They're getting their full-size candy bars.
Right. From the rich people.
From the rich people. And Lucas and Dustin are flirting with Max like so bad. And Mike's getting a bit pissy. And he's
Mhm.
like, give me a freaking break. He gets pissed off and walks away. And Will is left all alone, which is the one thing that nobody ever wanted him to be, was
Right.
by himself, and now he's by himself. Fucking bullies come over and they start calling him, names again. Zombie boy, and they're
Yep.
shoving him down.
Call him a
And
freak.
yeah. And as soon as he hits the ground, he's in the upside down again. Like it just like turns on like that, And he's like totally freaking out. He sees like that monster that was in the storm last week.
Right.
It's huge. It is
But it
huge.
looks like it's made out of almost smoke or tornado or something.
Yeah, like it's not transparent, but it's not solid, and it's got like a million arms, and like, dude, what is that thing? It's not a Demogorgon.
It's got to be some kind of elemental or something, like a wind elemental, or
it has to be, but it's not a Demogorgon. I know that much. It's not a Demogorgon.
Right. I'm out of my depth. I'm sure it's a D&D monster.
I should look that up, but I'm afraid if I look it up, I'll see a spoiler.
Yeah.
And just to refresh everybody who's watching, John and I never saw this before. So we're doing it episode by episode, and we're not watching ahead of the next episode.
And we're not getting into spoilers. We're not looking things up on the internet. We're watching this show in the spirit it was intended to watch, a little at a time.
Yeah. So please don't tell us in the comments what it is.
Right. This is supposed to be a journey into the show the way it was intended.
Absolutely. Oh, and I'm so like balls to the wall in on this journey.
For sure.
So yeah, he's like stuck in the upside down now, and this giant monster comes and the tentacles, and he hides. He goes and he hides. He hides behind a little wall, and all of a sudden Mike finds him and snaps him back out of it, like just like that. Like he snaps back out of it again, and they know something's wrong. And Max is like, what's wrong with him? And Dustin and Lucas are like, we fucked up. We're not going to say anything, but we fucked up. Mike says that he's going to take them home because it's really boring anyway. He's lashing out. He's lashing out because of the, that's his way of PTSD. That's how it's affecting him. And he misses Elle, his girlfriend. And here he's watching his friends flirting with the girl, and he misses Elle, So he goes and he takes him home. But before taking him home, they stop at Mike's house. I guess that's where Jonathan was going to meet him anyway, I guess.
Right.
I forgot about that part. But they're downstairs, and Will confides in him the visions that he's been seeing and how it's like he's in the upside down, but he's in the real world, and he compares it to a Viewmaster.
Yeah.
Which I thought was brilliant because
Right.
I remember those Viewmasters.
And if you did get him in between
Yeah.
cells, you would see weird
both
shit
at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant comparison there. I really enjoyed that one. He says it looks like huge shadows but they're alive,
Right.
giant shadows that are alive. Mike asks if it's real, and Will just doesn't know. He doesn't know if it's real. Of course, we know that it's real, but the doctors keep telling him, "Oh, it's all in your head." So
when he dropped the camcorder, I was wondering if it was recording the upside down.
He did drop the camcorder
In the upside down.
I missed that. Oh my gosh, that would be so cool.
His bag of candy and the camcorder are laying on the ground when he stands up. So
it's true. It's true.
I'm very interested to find out if there's actual footage on that.
Yeah. Wow. And who's gonna find that and see the actual footage and say, "What the fuck is this?" Like, holy shit. That's gonna be cool. So yeah, Will confides in Mike, and he's like, "Don't tell the others; they'll think I'm crazy." Mike starts confiding in Will about Elle, how he swears he can hear her voice,
Right.
and how he's been trying to contact her every single day. It's been 300 and some odd days, and he still can't find her, but he swears he can hear her voice.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know if they're crazy, but if they are crazy, at least they're going to be crazy together. And
Right.
I thought that was a really great bonding session because Mike had so much he needed to get off his chest. Will had so much he needed to get off his chest. And they truly are best friends,
Yep.
So we're back at the party. Jonathan goes to the party, and Nancy is drunk off her ass. She is like bombastic, man. Steve is completely sober.
We got 6 minutes.
I can do this. Steve's completely sober. Goes accidentally. Nancy spills shit all over her. Steve is partly to blame. Takes Nancy into the bathroom to clean her. Nancy's like, "Everything's bullshit. You're bullshit. This love is bullshit." And Steve's like, "But I love you. You don't love me." And she's like, "It's bullshit."
That was super fucked up.
Yeah. So Steve leaves. Not mean leaves, but like on the verge of crying leaves. Then Jonathan sees all this and goes and gets Nancy, drives her home, puts her into bed, shuts off the light. Right before he leaves, like right before Nancy passes out again, she's like, "Jonathan," and then she conks out and starts snoring, blah blah blah. Hopper gets home. He knocks on the door with the secret knock. Elle's not opening it. Knocks again. Elle's not opening it. He's like, "I'm going to freeze to death out here. Can you please open the door?" Elle opens it. He walks in. There's no Elle. Elle is locked in her room with a TV, mind you.
Right.
On
the longest cord that's ever been corded.
Yep, absolutely. And
that must have been an extension cord.
Yeah. It had to have been because TVs didn't have that long of a cord.
Right. 5 minutes.
Not a problem. Hopper's like, "I'm going to eat all this candy all by myself and I'm going to get all fat and everything and it's not healthy," trying to get Elle to come out because I guess Elle wants Hopper to eat healthy because we all know everything, Hopper's Pass. It's all donuts.
Yeah.
She has TV in her room. She really doesn't give a shit. She turns it on to the fuzzy channel because we had fuzzy channels back then where nothing came in and it's like shh, all white noise and fuzz,
Yeah, Carol Ann.
Yeah, exactly. Like Carol Ann. Yes. We don't have that anymore. So she puts a blindfold on because she wants to go in between worlds, not into the upside down, but she wants to go in between worlds. And when she does, she goes over to Mike's house and Mike is talking in Elle's spot, calling for Elle. And Elle hears him and she's like, Mike. And he's like, 11? And she reaches out to try to touch his face because she's between worlds and Mike can't see her. And Mike gets all pissed off because again, he thinks he heard 11. Storms out because he's mad at himself. He misses her. She comes out of the other world. Her nose is bleeding. She's crying. And now we're at Dustin. Dustin goes home. There's something in the trash can again. Dustin's like, what the fuck? And it doesn't sound like a raccoon this time.
No.
It really doesn't sound like a raccoon this time. It sounds like some kind of monster from the other world that has been making the chittering noises every time we saw it. And he goes and opens up the garbage can after getting, I've got balls, I'm going to do this. Opens the garbage can. And he hears chittering and he's like, holy Ghostbusters. Yep. And that's the end of the show.
It was a good episode.
It was a great episode. I have so many freaking questions. Lots of questions answered. Again, super mega awesome soundtrack. We had some Ted Nugent. We had some Motley Crue. Of course, we had the Monster Mash, which was one of the biggest hits of our childhood, even though it came out earlier than that.
Dolly and Kenny.
Dolly and Kenny. We had some Duran Duran.
Yeah. That one jumped up and smacked me. I'm like, ooh, Duran Duran.
On film. Yeah.
All right. We have 2 minutes to say goodbye, Kelly.
Well, that's going to be an awful long goodbye.
Well, it's true. So I'm going to say goodbye.
I'm going to say thank you as of tonight, which is Thursday when we're recording this. We have 49 subscribers. So thank you. We are one away from 50.
Yep. Let's hit that 50. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, friends.